Here are some early game and mid game tips and tricks to help you survive in the world of Palworld. Tip number 1. This may sound pretty obvious, but capture as many pals as you can. And if you didn't know, capturing 10 of the exact same pal will give you a massive XP boost. This will help you unlock more schematics and upgrades for you to advance in the early and the mid game. Tip number 2. Make sure you have your base on a highly elevated place or a mountain with only one point of access. The reason why you'd like to do this is because when you get raided by enemies, they actually cannot harm your pals or your base at all. They just sit down at the very bottom of the mountain and they can't do anything because their AI is dumb. If you guys would like to set up your base where I'm at, here is the spawn point. You run all the way around to the left and it's right next to the Univault. But don't worry, the Univault boss actually doesn't come up to your base at all. Tip number 3. Making sure you have the right pals for your base. What I mean by this is that different pals have different traits for your base. Now this can be completely overwhelming for you guys when you first start out in the game, but I assure you, you will be used to it very quickly. For example, if you think Fox Parks can mine wood and stone for you, you're wrong because there's actually no mining or wood icon next to it. They can only do the kindling. Now pals in the mid game and late game are definitely going to be better than the early game as they have more traits and they have a 2 or 3 next to the icon, which is more efficiency in that field. Tip number 4. You can actually capture humans in Palworld. Yes, this is a very inhumane thing to do, but if you want to do this for your own advantage, I would definitely recommend it. I will definitely recommend the Pal Merchant, as every single time you chuck them in and out of your box, their shop will refresh every single time, allowing you to get more pals. Tip number 5. Chuck a chest right next to your unlimited wood and stone farms, because if you know, having wood and stone is very heavy for your character, and if you have too much, you get encumbered and you cannot move. Having a chest right next to this means you're able to drop your resources in the chest without needing to waste time dropping the resource and go closer. Tip number 6. You can roll and pick up an item that makes you encumbered and you will actually continue to roll. This is a very efficient way to move your resources if you do not have the grappling hook. Speaking of the grappling hook, if you do have the grappling hook, you're able to grapple when you're fully encumbered. Make sure to use this to your advantage as this may get patched in the future. Tip number 7. Check your pal deck to see which pals drop some really important resources for you guys. If you guys didn't know, Bristilla actually drops wheat seeds and lettuce seeds for you guys, which is quite hard to find. And Cinnamoth actually drops lettuce seeds, wheat seeds, and honey, which is very useful for cakes. Tip number 8. If you're trying to capture pals without hurting them at all, do not throw the pal ball at their face as you will get lowered chances. Turn around and go to their back and you will get the back bonus, which increases your capture chance by a substantial amount. Tip number 9. Capture different pals and get their unique saddles. The Fox Parks has a flamethrower saddle you can get at level 6, and the Lit Monk actually has a submachine gun saddle that you can get at level 11. And the final tip I have for you today, guys, is to check your pal's passive stats, as some passive stats can really decrease their attack damage and their defense by a substantial amount, and some of their passives can increase their damage and their speed by a bunch, which is very helpful. So make sure you're not going into a boss fight with a pal that has very reduced defenses or attacks, because you're just going to have a very tough time. Thanks so much, guys, for watching this video. Palworld hasn't even been out for a full 24 hours and I'm already making a tips and tricks video for you guys. If you guys have your own tips and tricks that weren't stated in this video, make sure to comment them down below to help me and the other people that are wanting to get tips and tricks, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.